Hello, everyone, and welcome to another edition of Litter Media Live. I'm your co-host, Mike Smith, and with me
is the other co-host. I'm Aaron Glandon.
For the week.
Yeah,
Dan is getting some much-needed R&R.
He's on assignment.
Getting some R&R.
Yes.
And we'll see him, you'll see him next week, Lord willing. You won't see me, as I'll be on assignment.
Correct.
Next week. I think Dan and I are haunting the same state, just a different location in that state on assignment. But this is July the 8th, 2024, post 4th of July.
Post 4th of July.
By the way, good job on the fireworks. You and Dan did an outstanding job on that.
Thank you.
And you were burning some overnight oil to get that ready.
I watched y'all's daily show the day after, and you said you estimated that I finished somewhere between 3:30 and 4. That was very accurate. How did you guys know that?
Well, there was an email you sent out at 3:49 a.m.
What did I say?
I don't even remember. I didn't look. I
don't remember sending an email.
I just saw that you sent it. I don't know if it was a link to the interview or the video or what, but that's how I had a general idea as to when you got done.
I sent Dan the clip to play on the show.
Aha.
That's
gotcha.
what it was.
But yes, sometimes to see neat things, you got to burn that midnight oil to get it all put together. So good to have you with us, and people can, by the way, see the entire show where?
On our YouTube channel.
Okay.
It's about 22 minutes of spectacular fireworks.
Yeah. So check that out on Litter Media YouTube. Let's take a look at the weather after a couple of really pleasant days last week. I mean, really nice. Almost puts you in mind of fall-type weather. We're going to warm up just a little bit. Sunny skies today. Highs anywhere from the mid-80s to about 90. Even warmer tomorrow with low 90s. When I stepped out here a minute ago, the sun was out. But I think we're talking about some clouds over the next couple of days. Chance of some showers moving into the picture tomorrow night and being with us a good bit of Wednesday. Even though we did have a couple of nice showers last week, we still need rain. When you see the grass is still brown, that's a heads up. And not just obviously for the lawns, more importantly for the farmers, because those crops need a lot of rain. You'll notice sometimes the corn, the leaves have that spiky look to it. That's the way they look when it needs water. So, yes, we could use a little bit of rain coming up. When we come back, we'll take a look at today's news topics, also a look at sports. The All-Star teams are being announced for Major League Baseball All-Star game next week, and there are some Ohio guys on there. We'll talk all about that coming up here on Litter Media Live. Accurate Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing, your trusted comfort advisor for more than 4 decades. You know, one of the reasons that companies are around for so long is because they're doing it the right way. And Accurate Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing is one of those local businesses. Give them a call.
Our mobile banking app is changing the way we bank. Things are getting easier. Transactions are getting safer. And you have access 24/7. All the functionality of banking you're used to, made easier to use. Anywhere, anytime, and more secure than ever. Simple, seamless, safe. Download our Kingston National Bank mobility app today.
Are you looking for a beer that satisfies your thirst and love of country? Armed Forces Brewing Company brews beer for patriots. Celebrate freedom with every sip. Armed Forces Brewing Company. Freedom never tasted so good.
Find a career you love with Pickaway Ross Adult Education. Skilled trades careers are in high demand with no signs of slowing down. Pickaway Ross offers career training programs with expert instructors and hands-on learning tactics to create a variety of opportunities. Visit our website for more information.
For transportation options in Ross County, call Ross County Health District's Mobility Management Team, 740-779-9652.
Haynes Total Healthcare Center is celebrating 50 years of serving the chiropractic, physical therapy, and nutritional needs of the community. Click on this ad anywhere you see it on littermedia.com, and it will take you right to their website to learn more. HainesHealth.com.
All right, back. Have you seen our new website yet? Actually, it's the same URL, but
Yes.
A different look. And I think one of the neat things about the new format is all of our newly loaded YouTube interviews are right there on the website.
Yeah, they show up right on the right side of the screen where you see it right there, the header that says YouTube.
Yeah. So there was always a way in the past, I think, to get to it, but it's more visible for you to find. So check that out. In fact, one of the interviews we had here earlier this morning, but which we'll be talking about on the headlines tomorrow, you can find that interview with Wayne Linthicum of Uptown Classics 3-on-3 tournament we did earlier this morning on Facebook Live. Here's the news for the day. The community Cupboards of Pickaway County is in need of organizations, groups, whatever, churches, civic groups to hold food drive events during the second half of this year to help the thousands of people in Pickaway County who are struggling to make ends meet. Now, the community Cupboards of Pickaway County are 22 outdoor food pantry cupboards, all strategically located around the county. Now, the list on the left that you see, there's 22 different locations in the city of Circleville and out into the county, the rural areas of Pickaway County, where you can find one of those cupboards. And if you go to our website story, you'll see a picture of one of the cupboards, and it's just what it sounds like. There's a glass case on it, but you can easily open it. And if you are a needy person, there's canned food items in there, some hygiene items that you can get, but they always have to replenish those so the people who need that help can get them.
Yeah. This weekend, Chillicothe Civic Theater's production of the musical Into the Woods is showing at Chillicothe High School's auditorium. That'll start Thursday, July 11th and run through Sunday, the 14th. Mm-hmm. And then Touch a Truck event is next Wednesday at the Rushville Middle School in Fairfield County on Wednesday, July 17th from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. And this is a fun event for kids of all ages to discover the vehicles that keep our community safe.
Did you like Touch a Truck as a kid?
I don't think I ever did one.
Some of the events, they'll actually let the kids get up in the fire engine, for example. Yeah. And I don't know that I've been to events that had Touch a Truck, but I don't know if I've ever climbed up into a fire engine. But maybe that's something I can get a chance to do.
You ever been inside Air Force One?
No. Have you?
Not even at the Air Force Museum?
Well, yeah. I thought you were talking about now.
No.
Yeah, the one that JFK and Nixon had as, yes.
I went to the Air Force Museum this past weekend. That's my favorite part, going to the Air Force Ones.
Dad used to take us to the Air Museum annually. And I think the last time I was up there, my brother and I went when the Doolittle Raiders were up there for a presentation. So, yeah, it's been a while. Need to get back up there. Mm-hmm. Also in the news today, the Ross County Health District will be hitting the road to bring their public health resources to Ross County. Join them on one of their 5 upcoming back-to-school clinic blitz dates in the month of July and August. And the first one coming up, as you can see there, will be on Thursday, July the 18th. And you can also use the QR code there to get all the other information about vaccines and things of that nature that they will have on hand.
And Saturday, July 20th at the Stevenson Center at 10 a.m., Ohio University Chillicothe for Geology of the Ohio Hopewell Artifacts is going to be presented by Todd Stevenson. Not the same Stevenson that the Stevenson Center is named for. It's spelled differently.
Spelled differently, yeah.
But that's a cool event to come out to. Absolutely.
Learn more about our native, probably, who knows, relatives?
Yeah, maybe.
in one way or another. Well, as we know now, it's county fair season. Pickaway County was the first area county fair to get things started here a few weeks back. Well, now Jackson County is gearing up for the 169th annual Jackson County Fair. That kicks off with some preliminary events. What the fairs have been doing here in recent years, like they'll have a Friday or Saturday, where they'll have free events, and then they start charging admission. But that starts on July the 12th and runs through July the 20th down in Jackson.
ArtsaRound is going to host a family fun day at Ted Lewis Park, scheduled for July 21st from 5 p.m. to 8 p.m. This community event promises an evening filled with entertainment, activities, and community bonding for families in Circleville. Organized by ArtsaRound in Uptown Circleville, Family Fun Day at Ted Lewis Park will feature an exhilarating concert with performances by Marty Hayes and experienced music students. Attendees can look forward to exploring various community resources, enjoying delicious food options, and cooling off at the Splash Pad. What is the Splash Pad?
Have you ever been to Ted Lewis Park?
Yeah, I have.
Okay, well, this was something that was added last summer. I think we went up and did a story on that last year. I got some photos and things of that nature. They added new sidewalks that meander through Ted Lewis Park. There's a splash pad there. So it's if you've not been up there for a while, you want to check that out. Our road report takes us down to Pike County today. Work's underway for a resurfacing project on State Route 32 between the Adams County line and Gulf Road and between Beaver Creek Road and Tennyson Road. At least one lane will be maintained for the duration of the project, which should be completed sometime this summer. Now, a side note, the latest superload took off from Manchester in Adams County early this morning. We'll give you more detailed information when it gets closer to Pike County, Scioto County, Pike County, and Ross County. I think they'll probably be staying in West Portsmouth for the day. It's almost like you say for the night, but actually They usually stop in mid-morning. They get started early before the big rush hour traffic, and then it stays in that location until early the following morning. But we'll get you probably the rest of this week. We'll be talking a little bit more about that as it goes up through Scioto, Pike, Ross, and Pickaway counties. Coming up, some sports. We'll get you caught up on how the Paints did, the Reds did, the Guardians did, and some of the Reds and Paints, or not the Reds and Paints, the Reds and Guardians, who are headed to the All-Star game next week. All that coming up on Litter Media Live. Scioto Valley Dumpsters, the place to call if you need to have a container to get rid of that junk or whatever material you're wanting to get rid of. Carl can give you that information, a free quote by calling 253-8389. They serve Ross and surrounding counties. Scioto Valley Dumpsters.
Each week, Litter Media presents the Neil Coleman Insurance Wyandotte Mutual Player of the Week. If you have an athlete to nominate, any amateur athlete is eligible. Simply visit littermedia.com and click on Player of the Week. At the end of the year, we'll announce the Player of the Year. Make your nominations now at littermedia.com. Click on Player of the Week.
As a basketball coach and a dad, I need to be able to keep up.
Mark came to the Adena Orthopedic and Spine Institute in severe arm pain from a degenerative disc.
I was so confident in Dr. Fleming. He explained everything.
Together, they decided on minimally invasive spinal surgery to relieve Mark's pain and get him back to what matters most. At Adena, we do what we love, so you can too.
Now that's one fast mower. Take command of your lawn with Dixie Chopper, the world's fastest lawnmower.
Discover Ross County. From the breathtaking outdoor adventures to the historic sights of Chillicothe and family-friendly events and festivals. Explore more at visitchillicotheohio.com or download the free mobile app today.
Welcome back to Litter Media Live. Mike Smith and Aaron Glandon with you on this Monday. Let's move over into sports. The Chillicothe Paints, of course, already sewn up the first half league title to guarantee a playoff berth. You know, I think they still want to be competitive, but as Brian Wickline told Dan Ramey in an interview last week, this is an opportunity to maybe get some other young people into these games to give them more depth. Seems like it's working all right. They beat Lafayette. Is that the Aviators? I believe it is.
Yes,
yeah, 11-8 last night. Dime a dog night. What were you telling me? You went to a Reds game and the hot dogs cost what?
I think it was $6 for a hot dog, and then it was $14 for a beer, because my buddy went and got a hot dog and a beer, and it said it cost him $20.
This was Diamond Dog Night.
Diamond Dog Night.
You could really cash in on.
No, I think today's Diamond Dog.
Oh,
Night.
is that tonight?
Yeah, that's tonight.
Oh, okay. You got it. I'm glad you caught that. It says tomorrow, but this screenshot was gotten after the game last night. So, yeah, that's tonight. If you want to go out to the Paints game.
So is it a dime for a hot dog?
That's my understanding.
That seems like a good deal.
That's a great deal.
Well, I guess you got to pay for entry to the game too.
Well, sure, but yeah, if you like hot dogs,
yeah,
check it out at VA Memorial Stadium.
And the Reds were swept by the Tigers after a 5-1 loss on Sunday. Ellie De La Cruz, though, was named to the National League All-Star team as a non-starter. And as someone who isn't well-versed in the MLB, is it surprising that he's a non-starter? Because I hear a lot of hype around him.
Yeah. Of course, that's a fan vote. The fans vote on the starters.
Okay.
At one time, the reserve players or the bench players were named by the coach. I don't know if the vote is added into that or not.
Okay.
But that was made known to everybody yesterday. Now, on the American League side, by the way, the Phillies had the most players of any team, 7, but the most players on the American League team belong to the Cleveland Guardians. They have 5. They won yesterday over the Giants 5-4, but I think we got a screenshot of who made the All-Star team for them.
Didn't grab that one. I saw the one of Ellie. I didn't see the other one.
You're fired.
Okay.
Okay, here's who they are. Steve Kwan, Jose Ramirez, Emmanuel Clace, David Fry, and Josh Naylor are the 5 Cleveland Guardians, which, again, that's the most for an American League team, where the Phillies have the most of any team. Of course, they're in the National League. They got 7. I can remember for many years, the All-Star players were named by the coaches. But back in the 50s, I think was the first time that they ever let the fans vote on it.
There they are.
And because of the power of 2 entities in media, WLW Radio and the Ruth Lyons Show, the first time that the fans could ever vote, they had such a wide audience that they were saying, get the Reds on there, vote for the Reds. And I think the Reds had like 9 or 10 guys on the All-Star team that year. And that's when Major League Baseball says, we can't have this. We're changing it back. And that's the way it was for like maybe the next decade or 2. And then they returned it back to the fans getting to vote. I can remember going to Riverfront Stadium when they returned to the fans, and you'd get a card, and it had like the Chads where you punched out the Chad for the players that you wanted. I don't even know if it's all online stuff now or what.
Yeah.
But when you went down here recently, you weren't given a card.
Nope.
So that they must not be doing it that way anymore, or you would have gotten one. So those are your All-Star picks for the All-Star game, which is next week. Also in local sports, the Chillicothe cross-country team has a fundraiser. I think we touched on this a couple of weeks back, but we wanted to give you one more reminder. This is coming up this coming Sunday, July 14th, from noon until 5 p.m. at the Chillicothe High School parking lot across from the YMCA. Schmidt's sausage truck is coming down. That is always a popular thing wherever the Schmidt's truck is. But this is a fundraiser for the Chillicothe cross country team.
Yeah. You know, I've never had Schmidt's?
Oh, yeah.
I've never had it.
You like German food?
Yeah.
You need to go to the restaurant in German Village.
Right.
It's a neat experience, if you just do it once. I was partial to the schnitzel and meatloaf.
What is schnitzel?
It's almost like little tiny chopped up noodles. It's what it reminded me of, but it wasn't. It's not really a noodle. It's smaller.
A schnitzel.
It's a schnitzel. Where they come up with, I haven't ever looked up to see what schnitzel means in German, and I got to be really careful how I say that it comes out properly. That's a look at sports. When we come back, we're staying in Europe, so to speak. We were talking German and Bavarian food. We're going to be talking about Paris and something pretty special for them on this date back in 1951. All that coming up on Litter Media Live.
Litter Quality Propane, online propane monitoring and reporting. Know your home's consumption and gas remaining in the tank. Find out more at litterpropane.com.
This is Andy Tomlinson. When ensuring what's important to you, our agents are there when you need us the most. Tomlinson Insurance, for the best coverage at the best cost. Visit us online at tomlinsonins.com to learn more.
Whenever I first applied for the ArchWiz opportunity, do I have to pay this back? Do I have to do that? Like, is it a loan? And it's not. It's a scholarship. A goal of mine is to graduate college debt-free. If you're a crew member, you get $2,500 a year, and if you're a manager, you get $3,000. And especially if you're going locally to college, like to the branch or something like that, it's really helpful.
Let me clarify. Schnitzel, definition, a thin meat cutlet pounded until tender and then breaded and fried. But what I had that day, it was that, but it was chopped up really small, in small pieces. Now, there's also Wiener Schnitzel, which is, I guess basically it says all schnitzels are breaded and fried thin pieces of meat, but only Wiener Schnitzel is made with veal.
Oh.
You know what veal is?
I know what veal is.
Yeah, but for whatever reason, the day that I had it, they had chopped it up, and maybe they thought I was too old and I needed help chewing it or something. I'm not real sure, but it was very good, very good. And their meatloaf was good too. On this date of 1951, Paris, France, I still have a hard time getting my head around this, celebrated their 2000th birthday. The capital city of France celebrated that 2000th year anniversary. In fact, a few more candles would have technically been required on this birthday cake, as the City of Lights was most likely founded around 250 BC. The history of Paris can be traced back to a Gaelic tribe known as the Parisi, who sometime around 250 BC settled an island known today as De la Cite in the Seine River, which runs through present-day Paris. By the year 52 BC, Julius Caesar and the Romans had taken over the area, which eventually became Christianized and known as Lutetia, Latin for mid-water dwelling.
I didn't know it was that old.
So add what? Here we are, 2024, from 1951. You're talking another approximately 70 years.
Yeah, a little more than that.
Well, I imagine Rome would be older than that.
Oh, yeah.
It's just a guess. Jerusalem?
Egypt.
Well, that's not a city.
You're right. I was
I'm
tricking
not sure
you.
what the oldest city in Egypt would be. I don't know where Pharaoh
Cairo?
hung out
Not
back
Cairo.
in his day. But yeah, Paris turned 2000 on this date back in 1951.
You know how they pronounced Caesar back in when he was around?
Salad?
No. They called him Kaiser.
Kaiser.
Because in Latin, the C is always hard.
Ah, just like the German Kaiser later on.
Yes.
Gotcha. See, so much that you learn if you just tune in to Litter Media Live every day. That's going to cover it for this Monday. We'll be back, good Lord willing, tomorrow. We have a special edition next scheduled for Wednesday morning at 10 o'clock. No special editions planned at this time, anyway, for tomorrow. But our regular edition getting underway at 11 o'clock. I'll let you sign us off today.
Well, thanks for watching, Grandma Joyce. And we will see y'all tomorrow on another edition of Litter Media Live. For Mike Smith, I'm Aaron Glandon.